You cannot compare abortion to the Holocaust.
I just did.
No.
Almost word for word.
Right. The reference to a parasite, that's a term that guy used. That has nothing to do with abortion.
Both the leader of the Nazi Party.
Right, but one was using it
abortion.
metaphorically and symbolically. One is using it medically.
I would disagree with you. I don't think he was using it metaphorically. I think he really believed
when he refers to
parasites.
Jews as parasites, that's a metaphor because they don't attach themselves to you physically. They don't crawl up your ass and live in your body.
Here's an anti-abortion activist on a college campus just beginning to short-circuit over the fact that the propaganda monster can infiltrate even his own argument. Republicans may believe that we're dehumanizing lots of babies, and this level of genocide can only be matched by the Nazis. But what tons of conservatives never bother to realize is what they say is very often untrue, projected, and premeditated by their leadership. This fanatic and many other right-wingers never acknowledge a woman's struggle in pregnancy, especially with complications from rape, incest, or pregnancy itself. They never explore how they might be impulsive in enacting a flat rate ban on all abortion and making it federal law. For them, modernism is to blame, feminism is to blame, and Democrats glommed onto it. Republicans play the victim and dehumanize people they don't agree with, using exaggerated language. That is a red flag for fascism. Watch this next clip and see if someone victimizes themselves and creates an enemy.
He deleted the tweet when he realized that he had messed up. But let's make sure that nobody forgets that Nick Adams actually compared what Hitler did to Jews with Joe Biden's speech about MAGA Republicans. If you listened to Joe Biden's speech and you felt some type of way because of it, you are the problem.
So obvious, right? Nick Adams, a Trump ally, took to heart a comment that was specifically targeted at people like him who follow Trumpism. He said Biden was worse than Hitler for making the comment, and straight up made people think Biden was evil. Here's what Biden said in case you don't remember.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. Now, I want to be very clear up front. Not every Republican, not even the majority of Republicans are MAGA Republicans.
And then he said what they're doing to earn the title of giant threat to democracy.
They refuse to accept the results of a free election, and they're working right now, as I speak, in state after state, to give power to decide elections in America to partisans and cronies, empowering election deniers to undermine democracy itself. MAGA forces are determined to take this country backwards to an America where there is no right to choose, no right to privacy, no right to contraception, no right to marry who you love.
See, those are actual threats we've seen and heard. Women are carrying dead tissue to term. Rape and incest pregnancies are now legally unfortunate inconveniences that must come to term in many states. Populous areas are losing ballot boxes, and ex-felons are being entrapped into voting illegally by Ron DeSantis' Department of State. Trump called foul play with his 2016 primary, which he won, his 2016 election, which he won, and his 2020 election, where millions of pissed-off voters voted him out. Election fraud didn't become a massive scare until Trump lost an election. The perceived threats by Republicans are manufactured to maintain power. And you can tell by the fact that they all suddenly give an F about something after either Trump or Q or some right-wing pundit says it's happening. That's it. That's the proof. And the atrocities they threaten their followers to believe are happening fall within the fascist playbook, according to philosopher Umberto Eco, who lived under Mussolini. I can provide you a few present-day examples. Let's take the trans takeover of women's sports, locker rooms.
And this seems to me absolutely ascientific, that if we're actually going to have a discussion about gender and sex, that should be based in data, which suggests that mammals are in fact binary in terms of their sex.
The overall emasculation of today's men and boys.
Well, what I mean literally is that I think the liberal attack, the left-wing attack on manhood says to men, you're part of the problem. It says that your masculinity is inherently problematic.
That's machismo and weaponry, which Echo explains as both disdain for women and intolerance and condemnation of non-standard sexual habits. Republicans are trying to ban people from being people and living their lives, and they're training their followers to dehumanize this subset of people because they don't fit their traditional ideals. Another example, the invasion at our southern border.
Invasion, properly defined by most, says it's an unauthorized, uninvited, unwelcomed incursion in your territory or property. This is not authorized by the state of Texas. It's not welcomed by the state of Texas or any other Republican state that I know, and they're not invited.
Republicans are constantly talking about wanting a WASPy ethno-state. This is fear of difference, an appeal against the intruders. A final example is when Republicans call us all of those big names all at once for not agreeing with their ideology.
I don't know what word you prefer, socialist, Marxist, crazy. I don't know. I'm open to suggestions.
As Echo puts it, in modern culture, the scientific community praises disagreement as a way to improve knowledge. Disagreement is treason. So how Republicans are effectively doing this is conflating big words like socialism, communism, Marxism with elitism and dictators. So their supporters won't bother to look up the actual meaning of these words and understand their misuse. Republicans also call their own opinions common sense, saying that Democrats are just complicating matters. And Republicans use culture wars to emphasize decision-making based on only feelings. They're doing this because self-reflection by any Republican voters would expose the fascists for who they really are. Right-wingers plan to continue deflecting and projecting their way to the top. And we, as Democrats, have to be more eager to fight back as a whole. We have to take the rhetoric back, because it's us, not Republicans, who care about democracy too damn much.